Well, hello and welcome to Trick or Treat. My name is Mike Mayona and I am your host. And we are thrilled today because we have an incredible guest. Bob Fitch is our guest today, and he has had an amazing career. We're going to talk to him about his career and what he's doing to help magicians do a better job with their presentations. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know what? I'm actually a minute early today. That's shocking me because I'm never early. It's usually the other way around. And I don't know. I didn't make a New Year's resolution, but maybe that is it. I'm going to try and start the show on time. So welcome. If you're coming, I see we have somebody from Florida. Well, thank you very much. I think could that possibly be one of the Fitch family? Yeah, I bet it is. Well, welcome to Trick or Treat. We're going to have some great fun today. Hey, let's start the way we usually start our show with a little visit from everyone's favorite mentalist or dead mentalist. Yes, Alexander.
Greetings, friends. It is I, Alexander, the man who knows, here to take you on another journey through the world of the unexplained. Come with me now as I lead you along the path of the unknown. So, what I want you to do is take your right hand and hold it in front of you like you are having your palm read. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your left index finger and touch your little finger of your right hand. I'm going to ask you to move 5 times. Each number is a move to an adjacent finger. You cannot skip around the fingers, but you can move in either direction. Left or right, you cannot skip around. Please move 5 times now. Is take your thumb and your little finger and fold them over, because I know you did not select either of those 2 fingers. Now the next move is you're going to move to the closest finger from the finger you selected. Now fold over your ring finger, because I know you did not select your ring finger. There are only 2 fingers left, and I'm going to ask you to move to the closest finger. Now you can fold your middle finger, because there is only 1 finger left, the finger that you selected, and it is the index finger, the finger of fate. Thank you and have a nice day.
Well, I'm glad to see Alexander was family friendly. Yes, he got me. Hey, Arthur, thanks for joining us, and happy 2021 to you, too. It's going to be so much better than 2020. I know it. Hey, as we usually start our show, we have at the beginning, we have a little fact or fake news, and we're going to bring that up right now.
Fact or fake news, fact or fake news, fact or fake news.
Yes, it's time for fact or fake news. And this is the statement of fact, or is it a statement that's fake? Daryl Fritzky was the pen name of the magician Daryl Fitzroy. His trilogy, Showmanship for Magicians, is a stagecraft guide for magicians. The books include advice for the choice of materials, style of performance, the character of the work, timing, pacing, building of climaxes, and other important aspects of performing magic. Is that fact or is that fake news? If you think you know, type it in the comments. And if you are right, well, you can win this super medal. It doesn't get better than that. And if you noticed, that relates in many ways to our guest today. Our guest today is Bob Fitch. You'll be meeting him in a little while, and of course, he talks about stagecraft because he's had tons of experience on stage, and we'll learn more about him soon. Hey, Mark Sicaria, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I'm not telling you. He's already decided to say whether it's fact or fake news. You have to wait until the end. But maybe you will win that super medal. Maybe you'll win that super medal, Mark. All right. My favorite part of the show, second only to the interview, is the magic short that comes from someone aside from myself. I am so thrilled to show this magic short to you. It is from Simon Pierro, and he is European, and he does the most incredible things with iPads. Just watch this. Wasn't that fantastic? Oh, he is so damn talented. If you want to learn more about Simon, you can go to his webpage. It's right there, simonpierro.com, and you'll learn all about Simon and some of the incredible work that he's doing. He's really a talent. I'm going to share some internet pictures with you, but see if you'll know the theme in a moment. Yes, it's the wedding day, and the reason I've picked the wedding day is it's very particular to me and our events, because as it turns out, on New Year's Eve, while most people were planning for 2021 and getting rid of 2020, well, we were celebrating the occasion of our daughter who got married. That's Samantha, my daughter Samantha, and that's her new husband Tomo, and they were married on New Year's Eve, and we went to Central Park and had a little outdoor ceremony, and it was raining, so we were in an underpass, which you can see, but it was very pretty, and everybody had a good time, and we Zoomed to his folks in Japan, because of course they couldn't be with us, but it was a great day. But not everyone's wedding day is as nice as ours was. We had a little rain, but we didn't get soaked. Some people do, though. Check out this one. Yes, the photographer, I was a wedding photographer, and we always strive for that perfect location for a picture. I could see myself putting people on a deck like that and the whole thing collapsing. Oh, yeah, well, it happens. Hey, here's, talk about getting wet. Here's another example of, the best man just... Oh, you sure you want those rings? Oh, I think I'm cruel-hearted to enjoy these. Hey, let's pull this out for the bride. Oops. Well, there's it was very, very nice of him to help her with the chair, but hey, dancing is always a big thing at weddings. Yeah, there are a lot of good dancers. Hey, here's another dancer. Except he takes down half the audience. Now this guy's got moves. Now this little lady, yeah, she's good at pole dancing. Look at that lady. She's got all the moves, this girl. Yeah, she's maybe a little too many moves. She's pulled down the whole tent. Okay. Doves, peace doves. They're going to launch the doves in a moment. Let's see. He has one in his hand. She has one in her hand. And boom. I think she held it a little too tightly. Okay, I'm going to carry the bride. Well, you put on a little weight there, honey. Ooh, let's toss the bouquet. Bouquet tossing, that's a big thing. That's a big thing at weddings. How about this guy up? Whoa, interception. Those guys are good. That was a good move. You got to admit, that was a good move. Hey, here we go. Here's another one. Bam. How hard did she throw it? I'm sorry, I laughed too hard. Okay, Daddy's first dance with the bride. Daddy's going to, these are so touching moments, aren't they? Hey, as a photographer, you want to walk backwards. You get that nice shot of them moving, but, well, at least it was holy water. Again, as a photographer, you look for that special location where you can get just the right shot. Oh, that's it. Okay, well, there you go. There you see some of the finer moments in weddings. And happy to say our event was nice, and there were no catastrophes. Hey, I have been challenging myself every time we do a show to do a little piece of a magic that I like to do. Learn a little piece of magic and share it with the audience. So this week we're going to share a little piece right now. Oreo's my favorite.
Don't eat those cookies. They're for company.
Yes, Oreos. You gotta love Oreos. They've been around a long time, and now they come in all different flavors. And they are one of my favorites. So I hope you enjoyed that little cookie break, and I hope you're ready to meet our guest this week with a little video introduction. Well, hi there, Bob. It's good to see you.
You too. I don't know where you find all those films, but that's pretty good.
Oh, they were funny, weren't they? Yeah, they make me laugh a lot. Hey, it looks like we just a warning to anybody who happens to be watching online with us. There's it looks like someone has decided to join us who has no business here. So I wouldn't I wouldn't send them any spam. I wouldn't send them any make them any calls there. Somebody joined in and is sending us crazy stuff on the comments, but that's what happens when you go to Facebook Live and we tell everybody. So let's ignore them. Thank you, Miriam. My cousin Miriam has joined us, and she says, "Cut the princess." I don't know how to get rid of them, to be honest with you. I wish I could get rid of them, but they're there on the comments. So if you're watching the show, just ignore those comments. Bob, welcome. Let me welcome you again. I'm so thrilled that you are joining us today, and you're going to tell us about your career over time, and that you were able to get up early and join us because you're on the West Coast, which is not your home base. You're normally in Jersey, correct?
That's it. I live in New Jersey, and now I'm out at my brother's in Los Angeles, so it's 3 hours earlier here. Oh,
yeah.
What you do? My wife is watching, so I have to be very careful. I have to be very proper, you know.
Yeah, and Los Angeles County is got a lot of they're having a lot of issues, aren't they?
It's terrible. All the beds are filled up, and thousands of deaths. It's incredible. Some people are getting the what do you call it? The vaccine, but
the vaccine.
It just hasn't covered it. You know, who knows when this is going to be over? For God's sake.
I know it is really something, and I know that L.A. County is having an especially difficult time. Are you able to go out and do anything, or are you kind of hibernating there with your brother?
My brother and his wife. Yeah, no, they get groceries delivered in, and they very rarely go out. Really, maybe to see his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just being very careful, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean,
yeah.
We're all older, so we have to be, I think, a little more aware of the possibility of, you know, getting sick.
Sure. Same over here. I mean, we're lucky though. New York, well, we had the worst of it back at the beginning, and I think we've all gotten sort of conditioned to do the right thing and, you know, wear the masks and you know, stay the distance and stay in when we can. It's been quite a challenge, and it's especially been a challenge I think for performers. You know, the theaters are closed, and you know, you really can't go into people's homes and perform.
All the magicians I know are trying to do everything virtually, you know, which is an entirely new field. To stand up magic, walk around magic, street magic, and now virtual magic. Oh my God!
Yeah, and it's quite a bit different from the way you normally perform. You know, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while. That it's going to be different because even when we get back to the point where, you know, you can go and safely be in an environment, you know, it's like, what are you going to do? You know, put sanitizer on your hand in order to ask someone to pick a card. We're going to all be twisting around. I think the magic that we do.
Well, even actor friends of mine are limited. You have to have your own studio now. You know, you don't send a picture and resume anymore. It's got to be all online. You do your auditions online and send them if you're a voiceover person, the sound bite. Or if you're a visual person on film, then you have to be able to photograph yourself and send it. So you become your own IT guy, and not everybody has that experience. So it's very difficult, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure that you heard about that incident with Tom Cruise. Just what was it, last week or the week before, where he got a little bit explosive on the set of Mission Impossible that he's filming now, because in order to do the work, you know, people have to follow the guidelines. Otherwise, you know, it can cripple the industry even more than it's already been crippled.
Right.
Hey, Linda Robbins, you've joined us, and Linda's put up a little comment here that I want to share with everyone, and it's a compliment. There it is. Linda Robbins, I love Bob's breathing exercise for powering up your voice, but sadly I forget how it's done. Do you think he will share that technique?
Sure, of course. I don't know if you want to do it now or do it later.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's share it now so that Linda has the answer to the question, or should we hold her in suspense?
Linda's going to tell me where she learned that, because I don't remember all the times we've done it or the people that were there.
Okay, so Linda, you tell us where you learned it, and Bob will share it with us at some time during the interview. Okay, hey Bob, I wanna look at some, but before we look at some pictures, well, actually, this one is the right one to look at, because when I saw the video of you dancing with Liza Minnelli, and that shot of you from the back, and I saw you move like that, I said, how the hell did you do that? Boy, you are some dancer. Where did you learn to dance? When did you learn to dance? And how did you learn to dance? Were you always a dancer?
Well, it was during the Second World War, actually. My dad was away, and I heard on the radio Major Bowes, which was a precursor to America's Got Talent, really. And people voted online and by telephone, whatever. And I heard tap dancing, only I didn't know what it was. I was 8 years old. And I asked my mother, I said, what's that? She said, tap dancing. And I went, what's that? So she took me for a tap dance lesson, and I loved it. And suddenly I heard from across the room the woman say, Miss Barker, said to my mother, he's a natural, Mrs. Fitch. And so I've been dancing ever since I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And in our little town of Santa Cruz, California, Monterey Bay area, there was another dancer, was a ballet dancer, and I was a tap dancer at the time, and everybody thought ballet dancers, well, oh dear, and this poor kid was really wonderful, but his dad was a fisherman. He's never going to be allowed to go any further with his ballet dancing. I was okay because I was a tap dancer. Later on I realized if I were going to work, I'd better take ballet and modern and everything else to help me have the variety. But what I also got was eccentric dance, like a Ray Bolger, well, he was a funny dancer, and I kind of learned that. And one of my teachers, Stanley Kahn in San Francisco, initiated the eccentric stuff, with the legs twirling all around, and it became a specialty of mine. And I would use it in shows or audition with it, and get the job because I could do something different. 2 weeks into the job, the choreographer would say, well, I saw you doing some crazy stuff at the audition. Show me some of that. I could use it here. And I realized I didn't get the job from the audition. I got it from the warm-up, where I was, fooling on the side. But anyway, it became one of my priorities to do better, So anyway,
Sure.
It was crazy dancing. In the beginning,
Crazy
it was
dancing.
called grotesque dancing, but who cares? It got me a lot of work.
Well, I tell you, those, I didn't think anybody could move like that. It looked pretty neat. Just amazing, just amazing.
That was a few
And
years ago.
yeah, a few years ago. What would happen if you tried it now? Would you break? So that was with Liza Minnelli, that particular bit that we saw in the intro, and this is a picture, and I think it said in the caption on the video that it was a world tour. Is that right?
Yeah, we had just done her first Broadway show, Flora the Red Menace, and after it was over, Fred Ebb and John Kander, the composer and lyricist, decided to help her with a career, and they put an act together. Ron Field was a choreographer, and we went around the world. There were still nightclubs then, so we went to like Persian Room in New York, the Coconut Grove in Los Angeles. We went to Australia, Checkers in Australia, the Talk of the Town in London, and beautiful theater in Paris. That was Edith Piaf's theater.
Hmm.
Cocatrix was the manager, and I peeked on the side, and he helped Liza learn how to perform, how to show off. You're going to sit on the edge of the stage like your mother in this song, and you're going to bow like this to all three sections. And she learned the fine points from Cocatrix, and it was really interesting. She was 19 going on 20 when we did that tour, and we toured for about a year and a half. And it was a great time. I mean, we were all over the place, and every nightclub, and it was filled. She never said who her mother was. Everybody knew it. And there was one cute little thing I thought was wonderful. They captured, they used. One time she said, "Here's a song my mother taught me," and then after she finished that, she said, "And here's a song I taught my mother," and it was very sweet. Everybody knew who she was and who her mother was. She didn't have to say so. It was very
No.
touching. Uh,
Yeah,
it was a great tour. It was fun.
sure. And what show is this?
This was Coco with Katharine Hepburn. You see lifted up there.
Oh, that's Katharine Hepburn. Oh, wow.
Me on the left of the group of guys holding her up, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was great. It was about Coco Chanel, who came out of retirement, and Michael Bennett was a choreographer, and he put together all the routines. We had a big turntable, and they did a lot of fashion posing and things like that as part of the show. And
Sure.
Katie was great. There was a moment when we were the four buyers, Orbach, Bloomingdale's Best, and Saks. And we come in the second act because she's come out of retirement and her collection has been put down by the Paris press. So she's in depression. She's lying on a couch, and here the four buyers come in. I want 10,000 of this, 5,000 of that. And she realizes in that moment that her collection is saved. And once upon a time, when we were performing, she forgot her lines. And she said, and she looked over at Chad, who was standing in front of her. He looked like Clark Gable with a mustache and everything. He said, "Kiss me." And he goes, and he walks over and kisses her. And she goes, "Oh, And at that moment, she remembers her lines. After the show, she calls all four of us together into her dressing room, and we go, "Uh-oh, what did we do?"
Uh-oh.
She said, "Lock the door." And she said, "Chad, that was very nice. You saved me. I forgot my lines. I'm a human being, and you saved me. But if it ever happens again, please don't kiss me, because I want to remember that the last person to kiss me was Spencer Tracy." And we we all cried. It was very touching. She was very sweet and very smart, boy, and very giving.
Oh, yeah,
I
she's a
walked
lovely woman.
in winter time. The snow was like, I don't know, a foot thick outside, and there was a dresser on her way out wearing tennis shoes. And Katie said, Where's your boots?" And she said, I don't have any boots, Miss Hepburn." She said, "What size are you? What size are your feet?" 7. All right. She took off her woolly fur boots, and she said, "Try those on." The girl said, "Well, they're perfect." She said, "Okay, you keep those, and I don't want to see you not wearing them when it's snowing." And then she proceeded to walk out into the foot of snow barefooted to her chauffeur.
Oh, my.
That was Katie. It was really very sweet.
Right. What a woman. Now, here's a familiar face. I don't think anybody would fail to recognize that face. Um, and which show is this?
Looking at that makes me smile. Carol,
Yeah.
she talks like this all the time. So
That's a pretty good invitation.
she had a habit of leaning forward, looking at the audience like that. And I found out the truth of it was she was literally blind. She could only see about this far in front of her face.
Oh,
And so she
no.
was trying to see you, and it felt like everybody felt like she was really looking at them. Well, she was really trying to, but it just made her so much more likable, I guess. Everybody
Yeah.
paid that for attention because she was really looking at them, which was an interesting thing for me to teach magicians, Instead of looking around all the time and talking like this, you're not talking to anybody, you're talking at them, you know? You're like uh, what do you call it? For boats. The light goes round and round and round. It goes,
Lighthouse, yeah.
lighthouse, yeah.
Yeah.
It lights up everybody, but focuses on no one. So here's a great tip for magicians or speakers. You know, look at one person for one thought. I'm looking right at you for this one thought. I finish this thought, and then I choose somebody else to look at, and I really look at them and talk to them, and I finish that thought, and I look at somebody else. And it's incredible, but the whole audience just feels like you're talking to them. You're not talking to anybody here. You're looking around because you think that's looking at people,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
Practice, you have to practice your script. I had a teacher come in church one time. We're having coffee break afterwards. We have dogs in the background.
I hear them.
They're big dogs, boy. And she came up to me. She said, "I'm a good teacher, and I can't get the kids to pay any attention to me. What should I do?" I went, let me get my cup of coffee first. Okay, I'm right here. I'm your class, and there's people behind me, and there's people two rows on either side of me. So I want you to talk to them. She said, "Okay, class, we're going to do something we never did before." I said, I got it. "You think you're talking to everybody?" She said, "Well, of course." I said, "You're not talking to anybody. You're talking to everybody. You're not focusing on anybody, so nobody's going to pay attention to you. So look, kids, we're going to do something we never did before. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know what it is? It's not addition. That's where we add up all the blocks. And then today, it's just the opposite. It's subtraction. We knock all the blocks down. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're really going to enjoy this." Right? I said, "Okay, you practice that. And you do that with your kids, and you call me Friday." She called me Friday night, and she said, "I can't believe it. I've never had that kind of attention before from the kids." I said, "Well, that was the secret." So if you're a public speaker or a magician who's doing tricks, practice where in your speech is the end of one thought and the end of another thought. And
Sure.
just practice.
Oh, it works great. It's a lesson I learned a long, long time ago. But I tell you, the very first time I had to work on a stage where I couldn't see the audience, I was just like, "Uh-oh." Now what do I do? I can't see someone to connect with them. And then I think it was a lecture that where you said, just pick a spot. And just as if there were a person in that particular place, and it'll work just as well. But it was a little challenging.
It is challenging, yeah, but like actors have to do sense memory where they create things, shapes, coffee cups, whatever. Magicians can use that sensory thing. And I had one lady, wonderful magician, she called me Tuesday morning. She said, "I just opened last night at the Magic Castle." And the guy came up to me and said, "If you do this tomorrow night, you're not working the rest of the week." "I don't know what to do. I said, "Well, what was different?" She said, "Well, it was the same." I said, No. There was something different. She said, "Well, I couldn't see anybody because the spotlight, it's a very low ceiling. The spotlight's right level with my eyes. So if I had to juggle, I'd have to juggle sideways because the light would blind me." She said, "And I couldn't see anybody." I said, "Okay. You go out this afternoon and you put somebody over there to your left in that last seat. Put your mother there. What's she wearing? She wearing pearls around her neck? A print dress? What kind of a dress suit? What is it? Really try to see it. Really concentrate on it. And over here, put your boyfriend. Is he wearing a sports suit? A regular suit? What color is his tie? What does he do when he sees his girlfriend performing? Oh, it's my girl, whatever. And over here, put your little dog with his hands on the back of the chair. And every time he looked at him, he goes, whatever." I said, it's silly. You feel funny, but just do it. Just do it. Create that for yourself. And call me tomorrow morning. So she called me the next morning. She said, "I can't believe it. that same guy came up to me tonight and he said, "Well, if you'd done that show last night, I wouldn't have bothered you." And then it's interesting, how people
Oh, yeah.
perceive. You know?
And what show is this one? This looks like, is this Annie?
Yeah, I was the bad guy. Dorothy Loudon was my sister who owned the orphanage, and my girlfriend Lily was Easy Street. Yeah,
How many shows did you actually do? How many Broadway shows have you done?
27 shows on Broadway. I did films and soaps and commercials and off Broadway, and then I started directing shows. I directed Carol Channing, for instance, in Lorelei, which was an extension of what we did on Broadway. But if for summer stock, I directed it, and I directed a version of Annie that went out on the road, and just lots of regional theater, off Broadway theater. I did a couple of directing things for the Actors Studio in New York City. So I had 6 kids, so I had to keep working.
Did you start? You said you started dancing when you were 8. Were you actually on stage that young as well, or did you wait until you got schooling and graduated?
I remember doing a little military tap dance when I was 8 years old for a Christmas show at the local men's lodge.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember doing that, and then my folks put me in all kinds of contests locally, and some were touring up and down California. Eddie's Adver show, we'd go to theaters and things. So I was always involved in contests, and also as I went through different teachers, they would go to dancing teacher conventions, which were conventions that gave the teachers that paid for the seminar new routines they could take home to teach their kids, on all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and even teaching teacher techniques. Try this for teaching, to teach whatever, new ideas. So I did a lot of those where I demonstrated for my teachers, and then later on, I basically taught for all of the dancing teacher associations. There are about 7 of them around the country. And even when I started working Broadway was Monday to Saturday, so I could fly to Georgia or Chicago or drive to Philadelphia or something when their conventions are usually on Sunday. So basically for like a long time I worked on Sunday until Broadway changed and became Tuesday to Sunday because they picked up family audiences, and so I couldn't do the conventions anymore. But I always did that, so that kept me in shape. And so yes, I was performing. I did Horace Heidt. Oh, I forgot about that. Did Horace Heidt early on. Did a little tour with Horace Heidt, and that was a talent show that toured. Horace Heidt had a band, Horace Heidt Orchestra, and then on one of those tours, teaching teachers in New York, I did Ted Mack. And I won 3 times.
Yeah.
Pat Boone at the end, and then we went to the grand finals, and none of us won. They didn't care. They just wanted exposure for him for his recordings and his records and things.
Sure. That was Ted Mack Amateur Hour, wasn't it called that?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a television show, and people voted, like they do for America's Got Talent, but. America's Got Talent is just filled with lights and glamour and all that. And just pretty straight-laced.
Yeah. Very different kind of television, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, this is from a film. This is from Pennies from Heaven. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, you got it down. Yeah.
And that's Steve Martin. Was that fun? Yeah. He how was he to work with? He looks like he's the nicest guy in the world.
Well, he had been doing all the things with the arrow through the head and all of the funny things, but he was trying to up his career, and so he studied tap dancing with Danny Daniels for a year before he did this film. And when we were in rehearsal, I got to teach him a little bit too. He was a nice man. He also did a lot of magic, you know, because he worked in a magic store before he did films. And that's where he learned all these little tricks with the arrows in his
Yeah,
head, with
yeah,
these jokes and stunts and things. But he was trying to upgrade his career with acting and other skills, you know. So
sure,
he did a wonderful
sure.
job.
He
Really,
did. He did a great piece on. I guess it was on Johnny Carson's show where he was the great Flydini. I don't know if you ever saw that particular
I did.
clip, but it was hysterically funny
But
and some damn good magic there
he
too.
was talented, I think, yeah, producing things from his fly and whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, it was pretty
Quite funny
daring,
piece.
but clean.
Yeah, yeah, no, but it was very funny. It was very funny. He's a very talented man, and Fitzky, the book, the trilogy that we have in our fact or fake news today.
Yeah,
He commented, I think, in the book that he wrote, that it was one of his most important books that he had read about presentation. So
yeah.
interesting.
You know
Um,
what's hard about that is he wrote so well, and people read it, and they aren't forced to do anything, to try any of the things, or they don't know how to access what he's talking about. You know, it was a really good book, but it's sort of like you have to be in a workshop because basically what you're doing when you're working this way with people trying to help them improve their act is you have to give them voice exercises, speech exercises, you know, the breathing exercise like we're going to do later. You have to help them with tips, like one person with one thought at a time. All those kinds of things to make their presentations better, clearer. And if I said, why do you do magic? When I worked with Bob Sheets, for instance, he came to two workshops, and then he hired me to go to Santa Monica and work there for a week. So that was 2.5 years before he could answer the question, why do you do magic? Well, I like it. Well, everybody likes it. That's why you're doing it. But why do you do it? And we almost got run over with a red light on the street. I said, Bob, you're going to tell me now why you like magic, or I'm staying here and you're going to have to pay for the hotel room until you do. He said, okay, okay. Well, would this be it? Most magicians like to fool you. I don't like to fool you. I like to fool with you. And I went, that's it. You like to scam people. You like to lead them down the garden path and then bang, hit them over the head. And I said, oh, Bob, the very things you're trying to hide, that you're stuttering, your dyslexia, those are the tools you use. Ladies, gentlemen, we're going to have a good time here today, and I'm going to fool the heck out of you. And now people are saying, oh, yeah, right, this idiot's going to fool us. They lead them down the garden path, hits them over the head, and they suddenly realize they've been scammed, and they laugh because they realize they've been had. And he was hiding the very tools that could help him do what he wanted. But he had to answer that question, why do you do magic? To find out the deeper tools to use in order to do that, you know? So answering basic questions, getting people to do things they're not comfortable doing. And you can read about it in a book, but that doesn't force you to do it. You really got to work with somebody or take a class that helps you move forward, you know, climb up the rung of the ladder. And you
well,
have to leave.
Yeah, I've seen, and I couldn't quote any numbers here, but I did see some data that suggested that in terms of learning, the amount that you read and is so much smaller of what you can actually learn than from what you actually from what you see in a class, and then what you retain from that particular class, and when you actually do something, obviously you learn so much better. So it makes all the sense in the world.
Well,
You can
well,
read something if you don't apply it. And if you don't, and even when you do apply it, are you applying it correctly? And if you don't get that feedback, you don't know.
Well, it's
So I can't.
interesting because when I did the week-long workshops, it was always the fourth day when they became unglued and they started talking, cross-talking, and I lost control of the workshop. And I went, "Hey, this is my workshop." But I listened and I realized, oh my God, they were getting it. They were finally breaking through, and they started having all kinds of ideas. So they'd ask, "Yeah, hey, try this, try this," and if it worked, then they knew something, and they realized that before they didn't know that they didn't know, and now they knew they didn't know. And by the time they left the workshop, excuse me, they also realized that they knew they didn't know. They didn't know they knew. That's what it was. The third level, they didn't know they knew. And when they went out and started working and applying the ideas, then they knew that they knew. So those are the four levels of learning. Don't know, I don't know. No, I don't know. Don't know, I know. No, I know. But, you know, you have to do exercises. You have to be, sometimes you're a little embarrassed. You're afraid to try something. You're going to look like a fool. But there's no, my feeling is there's no such thing as failure, only discovery. So if something doesn't work, you say, okay, it didn't work. Instead of being embarrassed, be free. Oh, I got four more ideas. I want to try those. And, you know, you got four ideas and you try them. That one doesn't work, but I learned something from it. And then you find something that works. But you have to be able to break through. And just reading, like you say, doesn't help you break through. You have to be there, and somebody has to say, "Try it, try it." I haven't said, "Well, you got to."
How many workshops have you run at this point? Have you kept count?
No, I haven't. We started off. My wife, actually, it was my wife's idea, because I was always working with people one on one, and she said, "Why don't you go work?" I said, "Yeah, you think so?" She said, "Try it." So I had a friend that helped me, Margaret Steele, who helped me put the first one together.
Oh, sure, Margaret from upstate New York. She's wonderful.
Right. She wrote the Adelaide Herman book.
Yeah.
Adelaide. She's a very wonderful magician and classical musician. She played in Broadway shows.
Oh, did not know that. Yeah.
She also wrote plays for kids, and she's very accomplished. You know, but she helped me with the first job getting people there. And Bob Fitch was very instrumental in bringing more magicians. We were doing the workshops at our place up in Montreal, well, near Montreal, in the Laurentians. So
Is that where is that where you run them? Do you still? Well, you're not doing it now because of COVID, I'm sure, but.
Well, we did it for about 8 years there. I did about 10 workshops, and then with Gaston in Munich. I did like 4 years in Munich doing workshops for European magicians. You know, that was wonderful. And then I started doing them wherever anybody wanted them. Phil Ackerley brought me to San Jose a couple of times for workshops. And then a lot of times now there's a lot of virtual, you know, coaching online, helping people.
Oh, okay.
It's still not the same as being person to person where you can say, do this, you know. And,
I'm sure.
I had a friend who was a nun, and she was teaching in New Jersey at this college, and she had like 4.4 kids in class. And she said, come and teach. I said, what do I teach? I don't teach what you teach. She said, that's all right. Do what you do. So I came, and these kids were very bright, sitting at the desk, and I went, holy cow. Ooh, okay. She said, okay, your turn. I said, okay. She said, okay, guys, stand up. Oh my God, they came unglued. I said, okay, do this exercise. And their hands were all over the place. And I said, okay, you guys are very smart, but you're not going to be sitting at desks the rest of your lives. You're going to be standing up and talking at lecterns. You're going to be standing up in front of a class and teaching or lecturing. You're going to have to learn how to stand up and deliver what you know. You're very comfortable sitting. So let's do all these exercises I had them even standing on chairs, and it was really scary for them because it was the first time being challenged to do something over and above what they were used to doing. But it was very helpful to them. So, all right. Anyway, go ahead, ask me a question. You had,
Sure. Well, you weren't always in, pardon me, musicals. Here's some pictures from a film. You did a Stephen King film. I know you did a couple of films, more than a couple. This is Thinner. And that was anything but a musical comedy.
no. Stephen King was there even. That was kind of fun meeting him.
Yeah, I think he was the pharmacist in this particular movie. He had a role as well. I think he does that kind of Alfred Hitchcock thing and puts himself in small roles in every film that's made from any of his books. What show? Now that's Jerry Lewis, isn't it? On the right.
Yeah, we did a revival of Hellzapoppin', and he had these he called spritzes, which were moments in between scenes where he'd come out and do a little monologue, and then something would happen. There was a guy carrying a doll, a baby supposedly, crossing across the audience, wah, 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 and he pulled out a gun and go bang.
We can get away with that today.
So I was on stage with the paper, and I start to tear it to do the touring restored paper, and then papers would start to fall on the floor, and pretty soon they were all on the floor, and I had failed. And I turned around dejected and walked through. It was magic that didn't happen.
Uh-huh.
Little gags. But he was very specific. He said, okay, you make an entrance after I say this line. I made my entrance. He said, no, in rehearsal. That's not the way you do it. I went, well, okay, let's do it again. So I did it. I came out quickly. He said, no, that's not the way you do it. I said, okay,
Wow.
All right. Show me. Okay, we were on stage left. The actor's left, right? Put your left foot by the edge of the curtain. When I say that line, and the moment I finish, you step out with the right foot. Right then. That's making an entrance. It was very specific. But really interesting. It had all to do with timing and everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he was really wonderful.
Yeah, he was a brilliant entertainer, that's for sure. And that is one beautiful costume you have, the classic magician with the cape. I love it.
It didn't make me look good. I should have kept the costume.
Yeah, this is just a collection of some of the very many magicians that you've coached. I guess in a combination with the individual
Right.
coaching and in your workshops. Yeah, there are a couple that really stand out. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of faces that people will recognize. Some of these performers I've even interviewed on this show. Here's well, I haven't interviewed this guy, but he's a pretty well recognized fellow. What kind of interactions did you have with David Copperfield as a coach? Are you allowed to say? I know he's very.
No,
he likes his secrets.
Well, before he ever did his television series, I guess I'm not sure how many he did, 16 of those maybe.
Yeah, he did a lot.
He had done The Magic Man, which was a play in Chicago. So
Mm-hmm.
he was probably, I'm guessing, about 19 at the time. And anyway, I went into Louis Tannen's, a magic store, and the man in there said, can I give David Copperfield your name? And I said, yeah, sure. He said, because he's looking for a director that also understands magic. And I said, yeah, I'll give it to him, And he had just finished The Magic Man. And so he met me, and he said, if I hire you, you're going to have to do everything I say. Well, you're hiring me, right?
What are you hiring me for? Yeah.
You want? Doesn't mean that I won't tell you what I think. It Don't want to follow it? Fine, I'll do what you say, regardless of what I think. So you want to hire me on that basis? Hire me. So he did. But I have to say, he had everything worked out. He had the music worked out to the move, to the change of like, here you were on this side of the stage, we're on that side of the stage, something different happens here, whatever. It was all timed out. I was amazed. What I helped him do was learn how to lift a girl and dance with her and do lifts, and
Sure.
and helped him with some of the magic and some of the moves that were magical. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah, he had a lot of dance in his shows. Now that I think about it, his
yeah,
show had a lot of
um,
dancing in it. Yeah.
and then the year before last, he hired me again in Las Vegas because he's very specific. You know, every moment he's really examined. I have to give him credit. It takes a lot of work to do that self-searching kind of thing, which is very hard. But there was a moment in the show where he produces spaceship, flies out over the audience. It's unbelievable. Trying to see his father, uh, who's dead now, but in the past. So he wants to go back. So the ship produces this alien creature. So it's standing on the desk over there and talking to him. It's really lovely, lovely thing. Produces the alien, and then the alien puts him into a kind of upside down parachute on a table, lifts it up, and boom, the parachute falls and he's gone. And then he appears, the film screen comes down and he appears. You see him land and you see him walk to a man and a woman having a picnic. The man stands up, it's his father. He hugs his father. The father turns around and David is gone. And that's the moment. But he said it's not getting the audience. The audience should be crying here. And I don't know what to do to make them cry. And I had to go through all kinds of films that he had, in storage of outtake for when he first shot the thing to try to find one of the films that would help the audience cry, which had to
Wow.
do with how they see how he walks, essentially a simple thing, but not so simple. Anyway, it was fun working with him again. And he was very nice, and just to show you his care. If you saw him backstage and met him, he would never say, "How did you like the show?" He would always say, "What didn't you like?" So he would pick up on those things. He was always looking to be better
Sure.
and to perfect
Sure.
things. It's an incredible sense that he had about it. I liked him a lot.
Now here's a multi-FISM winner, Sean
Yeah.
Farquhar, and when did you coach him?
Um, about 3 years ago, he. Oh, wait a minute. Was it? Maybe it was longer. It might have been in Vancouver because he lives up in that area in the West
Yes, he
Coast,
does. He
in
does.
Canada.
He's
You know,
opened
I
a
think-
theater out there now as well.
Yes, he does, and
Yeah.
the shop, magic shop,
Yeah.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to produce a series of workshops on, on video online,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of. He said, "I want to preserve your life's work." Really sweet, and I want to put it on video, and you can sell the videos. You know, be kind of classes and workshops. So that was very nice. I cannot remember exactly what I did for him because he was, in my mind, he was like perfection.
Well, he's a hell of a talent and an extremely nice guy. Sean is a real sweetheart. Hey, you know what I didn't ask you? You started tap dancing or dancing at 8. When did you start? When did you get your magic bug?
Oh boy, I was 12. My grandmother brought me a little cigar box, and I said, "What's this?" And she said, "Well, these are some magic things that your uncle had. My uncle died when I was 5." And she said, Don't you remember? I didn't remember, so I must have been 4 going on 5 when he showed me magic. And they were
Yeah.
all little clips, dye tubes, whatever,
Sure.
thumbs and all.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, what do you do with these? There's no instructions. She said, I don't know. Go to the library. And I lucked out. I found Ottokar Fischer's Illustrated Magic, translated into English. And it was like, whoa! It was everything that was in the book. I mean, everything that was in the
The
cigar box was
box
in it.
was in the book.
Like, oh, it's my little secret thing I'm going to take. And I started fooling around with this stuff and trying things. And
Uh-huh.
that's kind of the start of it. And then when I was, well, a middle teenager, young teenager, there was a man that Goldie Goldstein. We were at the beach in Santa Cruz. We were like a block from the beach, and he invented the snow cone machine. And he was a very sweet old man, and he had no fingers. They were all cut off at the root. He was born that way, but he did magic, and he did magic with tubes and boxes so he could hold those. But he took a couple of kids, and he sort of apprenticed us and made us read books and then showed him what we read. And he would comment and, help. Well, do it this way, try it that way, or whatever. And so he was kind of a mentor for quite a number of years during the teenage period.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think when I was 19, I had my a very creative period. When I became 50, I realized I'm still using what I came up with when I was 19.
That's scary, isn't it?
Creative period. Well, that was my creative period. I had another one at 50. And, I think that's when I started teaching as well. But, passing on all of the stuff, the acting things that I could give to magicians and whatever. So,
Here's another familiar face.
David,
David Blaine, yeah. And you not only coached him, you created something for one of his specials, and I'm going to share that with the audience.
Let me show you. No, come here, come here, come here. Move your hand. No, take the top off. Take the top off. Take the top off. It's okay. Don't burn yourself. Take the top off to hold that. Let me show you something. Look, taste the coffee. Make sure it's not too hot. It's okay. Look, as God is the witness. Look, let go. I'll hold it.
he holds the cup. Now watch the cup. Watch what happens.
Look,
The coffee starts to disappear.
it's starting to go. I see.
Coins appear, fill up the cup, start to order. And the guy is so happy. He's too. I love that. You are the man. You are the magic man. That was the last. That was the last trick he did on his second special. And,
It's great. He's just the right guy there.
he said, "Well, I did it with about 6 guys, but this one was the best."
That was I guess that those specials were really kind of a turning point for magic, in many ways, because that's when I guess street magic really took hold. I don't think it was quite seen then. And what was most interesting about his work in those specials was not so much the magic as it was the reaction that he showed of his spectators. I mean, that was really the show, frankly.
Yeah, that was his idea.
Yeah.
In fact, I had one magician write to me and he said, "Well, I can do everything David Blaine does. Why aren't I famous?" I couldn't believe that. So he came up with a unique idea. He's not doing the magic per se. He's doing it for the reactions from the people, and that's how he sold his show to the video people. In fact, the first 2 shows they made him go out and video, take different shots of him performing, and then they would copy what he had done. And he became so popular after the first two shows that suddenly the network took him over, and then they started telling him what to do. They started creating the shots. The third one was when he was in ice, sitting in a big block of ice, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then advertising in that one, and you realize the networks had now taken over because they could make money with him on the advertising, you know.
Sure.
So anyway, they came to me and said, we have an idea. It's kind of like the rice bowls, where the guy has a cup of coins and the coins grow and fall out of the cup. Can you do that? I said, who are you? Jenny David Blaine. I said, yeah, so? They said, well, we got your name. I said, where'd you get my name? Somebody in Las Vegas. I went, my God, that's unbelievable. He said, can you do this? I said, I don't know. I have to go to Canada tomorrow. So I was there for a week. I thought about it. And I came back and he called me. I said, oh God, I forgot to do it. And he said, can you give me some? I said, yeah, I'm so busy now. I'll call you tomorrow. So that day I went and worked, and I came up with like 7 different versions. And then I had to go show him the different versions. And he liked this one. But I came up with, I said, but what if it's a coffee cup? Why can't there be coffee in there? And it changes to the coins instead of just coins multiplying. He said, can you do that? I said, I don't know. Let me think about it. And overnight I came up with the idea and then made it and presented it to him. And that's the one he bought. You know.
Oh, well, it
And
sure
now
looked good on film.
they're selling it, but the one they're selling is not my idea. And it kind of works, but it's not because it's mine, but it's just a better idea that I had. And they don't know what I did. They're selling it, you know. Another
Don't
version,
tell him.
yeah, whatever, you know. Now everything you do is copied or stolen, or you know, whatever. Who cares?
That's a fact. Now this is a picture of you in your workshop. Now is this up in Canada, or is this now are you doing workshops in Jersey?
That one was when the hell was that one? That wasn't in Canada, no. That was where they hired me. I can't think. That might have been San Jose.
Okay. Now, do you, when you do your workshops, do you have obviously you bring your workshop to other locations, and it's clear from what you're saying. Do you also have a place that you know, like I guess Jeff McBride has his mystery school, and that's kind of got a home base, I guess, out in Las Vegas. Do you have like a home base for your workshops?
Well, we have the place in Canada. We have a very nice studio there, and we have
Okay.
extra beds upstairs. But kind of, I will go where anybody wants me to go.
Uh huh.
They just have to gather the crowd, gather the guys, provide a place for me to stay, transportation, and all that. I have a fee, and that way, if they're going to do all the work, I say, well, you can come in for free. So, you
Sure.
know,
Why not? Yeah.
all the work, organizing is a big part of it.
Uh huh.
Bringing me out and all that, you know. So that's what I do. I'd like to do it in Canada again, but it'll have to be after this pandemic is over because
Yeah.
not being locked down. They're really locked down in Canada. They really do it right, you know.
I
Trying to
agree.
trying to minimize the
Yeah.
danger. So,
Yeah.
they're being very
Where in
careful.
Canada? Where
We're
in
about
Canada
30
do you?
miles north
eh,
of Montreal, in the
North of
Laurentian,
Montreal. Okay. All
Montreal,
right.
the lake area, you know, two countries. It's
Uh-huh.
on the way to Mont Tremblant, and it's like 15, which is uh, goes all the way north. So you know, it's 45 minutes from Montreal. It's fairly close.
Yeah.
So and then hopefully I can do it in Europe again. That was fun working with Gaston. He's a master coach, teacher. He does everything.
No kidding.
Wonderful teacher.
I don't
We
know
got
him,
to
Gaston.
collaborated on things. I met him at FISM and commented on his performance, and then he grabbed onto me and he said, "You're going to do lectures at my place." I said, "Yeah, okay." For 4 years, we went
Okay.
up there. My wife and I went up to his place
Hmm.
outside of Munich, and that was fun because all these guys in Europe have different way of thinking about magic, you know, and it was great fun. It was great fun, and I
You had
love
a
doing it. I
yeah.
feel like I keep learning as I get older, and it's like living all over again. Being born again. It's like
Sure.
pass on what I know, and that feels awfully good.
Oh, teaching is such a wonderful experience. I've run a few workshops for just for basic magic. Actually, a little workshop through a college organization that focuses on retired people, and so we do magic for grandparents as a workshop, and you learn as much as you share because you're always fine tuning it as you try and teach something. So I can understand how you'd be anxious to get back to it. I'd love to know when you start again doing workshops, because I'd love to participate in one myself. Sounds like
I'll let you know.
a wonderful.
I'll let
Oh,
you know.
please do, please do. You also had a great spread in Vanish magazine. That's Paul Ramhani's magazine, which is a great magic periodical. If people don't know about it, they should subscribe. It's I think $5 a year, and it's a great magazine filled with lots of pictures and wonderful tricks and great stories, that was quite a spread.
It was quite spread. Romani and Paul Romani and it just went out of my head. I'll think of it.
Oh, I can't remember who
Hal
wrote it.
Myers.
Christensen, Jeff Christensen wrote the story,
Yeah,
and he
but Hal
yeah
Myers and Romani worked the magazine. Put it all
yeah.
together.
And I
Yeah,
think they took the workshop. I think a couple of pictures in there have Paul in the workshop.
that's right. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul was in the workshop, and I couldn't believe I helped him find a couple of new ideas. And he went crazy. He said, "For God's sake, I've been waiting 40 years or 30 years or whatever to find out something that bothers me, and you just did it in 2 seconds." I said, "I guess I was lucky."
Yeah.
you know, that, it just feels so good to be able to get in sync with somebody and figure out a little missing element or something they didn't see. And I
Sure,
just feel
sure. And Paul has a wonderful presentation that's on the Charlie Chaplin theme, which
very
is
much.
just he does a really, really beautiful job with
So
that
I
character on stage. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Hey, Bob, I'm looking at the clock, and boy, oh boy, did we run over because you're so fascinating to chat with. But the show is called Trick or Treat, and we kind of promised Linda that if she hung around, that you would you'd do that breathing exercise with her. Up, up, up. Something's coming up. Something's coming up. Let me give you the full screen here.
I can't. Oh, there we go.
Ah, a little trick for trick or
That's
treat.
it.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
very much. And as a treat for those who stuck around, and those who are going to view the show on YouTube, maybe you can share that breathing exercise with
yeah,
us. Now, she does tell us. Linda did say that she picked this up at a lecture that you gave to a magic club on Long Island, and I think I was at that same lecture. And I picked up one thing that I use all the time, and that's about how to enter onto stage and how to focus on aspects of the audience just as you walk out, which is a wonderful
couple
tip.
of tips that we did today was the one thought with one person. You know, what else did we do? Yeah, okay. Well, the breathing is very important. I gave this, I think I told you when we just chatted, I gave this to some mimes, and they said, well, breathing, well, what? We don't talk. What do we need that for? I said, try it. For heaven's sake, try it. And they came back and they said, oh my God, it made me so ready to just walk on stage. And I didn't worry about anything. I wasn't afraid of anything. I had no stage fright. I was just woof, ready to go. I said, that's what it does for you, you know. But it also changes your voice. Your breath is everything. People don't breathe when they talk. And I learned when I was 26, probably repeating my story, but I was 26 on Jones Beach, which was an outdoor theater in Long Island, New York. And the stage was out in the ocean, and the wharf was where 6,000 people were outdoors, and the orchestra was there at the foot of the wharf. Anyway, we danced on the wharf, and then pontoons came out and connected with the stage, and had to carry a girl on our shoulder all the way up the pontoons, which were a little wobbly like this, and we finished on the turntables, and we walked off into the dressing room, and every one of us, including myself, were lying down on the floor going, "Ugh, ugh," not throwing up, but just out of breath. So and I thought, if this is show business, I hate it. And the next morning, I said, what can I do about this? And suddenly, I remembered a singer saying to me, you dancers don't breathe right. You breathe through your mouth. So your lips dry out, and you couldn't sing after the dance because you're out of breath. We breathe through the nose, and we phrase our breathing in between phrases. We mark our music with little forward slants. And at that point, we breathe. We breathe through the nose. And I thought, well, I've never done that. Nobody taught us that. So I figured like 9 places to breathe. The hands, I just took a big breath, whatever, didn't dance movement, so you didn't see me doing this exertion. Anyway, I didn't care about the show that night. I just wanted to see if I remembered those 9 places. And I did. I remembered the 9 places. And I patted myself on the back and walked into the dressing room, and everybody was on the floor going, ugh, ugh. And I felt like I could go back on stage and do it again. And I went, oh my God, I could sing. And I felt, I just have discovered the fountain of youth. And that has helped me through my entire life. And you should do it in the morning if you're a magician or a performer. Give it a little exercise and do it before you go on stage. And anyway, okay, I'll shut up now and do it. The breathing is in 3 phases. You should be standing up doing it. I have to sit down here because I don't have that facility here. Anyway, but you stand up and do it. Stare at something on the wall. Keep your face level. Don't look around. Just stare at something so it kind of blanks out your mind, all right? Put your hand on your head. Don't cross the fingers. Hands on the head. Now, right here, above your clavicle is a spot for oxygen, but we never use it because it has to be stretched. I have to bend my arms back, right, for order to access this. So, okay, step 1, hands on head, look straight forward, bend the elbows back. Take a big breath through your nose to your stomach, below your diaphragm. That's step 1. Now put your upper teeth on your bottom lip and breathe through it as if you're going to say "phooey." Don't let it be easy. Force it through by pressing your stomach, your belly button, to your spine. Okay, elbows are back. Let's do 1 and 2. Breathe in, elbows back. Now, teeth on lip, push the belly back. Stomach is all the way in. Now, breathe in. The third thing is breathe in through your mouth and nose. Push your elbows back again. Remind yourself. Breathe in through your mouth and nose. Lift the arms all the way up. Let it out. Okay? Let's do it 3 times. Okay? Hands on head, look straight ahead, elbows back. Breathe to the belly button, through the nose. Teeth on lip, belly button to spine. Elbows back, breathe in through the mouth and nose. Let's do it 2 more times. We have time for this. Elbows back, straight ahead, nose. Belly button to spine, teeth. Feel that belly button. Elbows back, mouth, nose. Last time. Straight ahead, elbows back, belly button. Nose, teeth, belly button to spine, elbows back, mouth, nose. Now, you hear my voice, it's a little different. It's a little deeper, and my articulation sounds better, even though I'm not really working on it. And everybody, if you really tried it, listen to your voice inside your own head. And if you'd recorded it before and after, you would really hear the difference. But that just, wow, I just feel expanded and I feel ready. You know, it's really...
Well, you just accomplished something my wife has been trying to get me to do, an exercise, with much more success than she has. Hey, Bob, I want to thank you so much. Hey, Clemens Ildner joined us, and he's happy because he's interested in learning breathing too. So I just picked up that treat from you, and we thank you very much. And I can't say enough how much I enjoyed our conversation today, and it was just a delight to talk to you. It's just, I was going to say you're a breath of fresh air because I just learned how to breathe better. And that was not a pun intended. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me and making it so easy. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I can't wait until we get a chance to actually see each other up close and give each other a hug and learn a little bit more about presenting magic better and
my pleasure, and
stepping it up.
If anybody wants to work, coach online, just give them my number.
Oh yeah, I'm going to show them your website address now, so that they can keep in touch with you through your website, where I assume you will be posting if you have a workshop coming up that people will be able to find out about.
Well, thank you. Actually, give them my email instead. I'm very bad with site. I should update it and all that. I need to get an IT guy, but the next thing I'm going to do is actually get my wife to critique this whole thing. Oh boy.
Okay. Well, if she's got a critique for me, send it my way too. All right, Bob. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Bob Fitch, and if you want to go to his website, it's fitchmagic.com. And what I will do is on the YouTube and in the comments, I will put his email address so that you can get in touch with him via email, and you can find out more about his workshops when they run, and if you need individual coaching. He is well. You saw all those pictures of some of the best magicians in the world who have gotten coached from Bob Fitch. So if you want to step up your game, he's the man to talk to. So hey, we had earlier today we had mentioned fact or fake news, and I'm going to bring that up right now.
Fact or fake news, fact or fake news, fact or fake news.
So, was Daryl Fitzkey the pen name of magician Daryl Fitzroy? That's a question. That's fact or fake news. We all know that he had the wonderful trilogy, Showmanship for Magicians. I think pretty much we all know that's a fact. But was he really? Did he actually have a pen name? Was his real name Fitzroy? Well...
Hello there, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's a fact. It's a fact here in California, it's a fact in New York, and places like this. It's a fact.
So there you go. It's a fact. It's a fact. And we had, I think we had somebody earlier today say it was a fact. They wrote that in the comments. That was Mark Zakaria. Yeah. So I'm going to have to send him that super medal. And if you enjoyed the show, if you're watching on YouTube, do give us a thumbs up. Share the video with friends who you think might enjoy it. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, where there's lots of fun stuff to look at. And we've, I think this is number 31. We've been doing this for 31 weeks already, almost since the beginning of the pandemic. And there's some great interviews. I hope you'll go back, look at the YouTube channel, and check out a couple of the other interviews. So that's it. Our next show is January 24th, and we will have we have a great show planned for you then, with Chipper Lowell. Chipper Lowell, who fills in actually for my favorite magician in Las Vegas, and you'll want to meet Chipper. So I'm going to say goodbye and invite you to come back on the January 24th and enjoy the magic in your life. Bye-bye.